Hello, my name is Sean and I'm an elder at Andover Baptist Church. Thank you for joining me today, which is day 3 of a 5-day series that I have entitled The Miracle of Creation. Yesterday we talked about creation, how important looking after it is, and how God's glory is reflected so clearly within it. Today I want to show you that just like healthy trees produce fruit, so too can we, in a way, and I want to explain why this is so important. When I was young, my parents would arm my brother and sister and I with very large, or what seemed to be very large in those days, Tupperware boxes. And armed with these, we'd walk into the hills surrounding the village in which we grew up, looking for the largest, plumpest, tastiest blackberries we could possibly find. They always seemed to be on the prickliest brambles as well, so although we would compete to see who could fill their boxes the quickest, it was also a competition to see who could survive with the fewest cuts off the bramble bushes. Serious scratches were a common problem, and I'm sure many of you have experienced that. In addition, we probably didn't fill the boxes as quickly as we should have done because we just couldn't resist eating half of the blackberries that we picked. Probably 50% went into the box and 50% went into our mouths. Even 50 years later, as an adult, I still look forward to autumn when the fattest, juiciest sloes appear on the bushes like little purple gems, and I have to try to beat the blackbirds to them in October because otherwise I'll have none left for my favourite sloe gin. But what good would a blackberry bush be if it never produced any blackberries? Or a sloe bush if there were never any sloes growing on it? What would be the point of an orchard if it was full of trees but there were never any apples growing on those trees? Likewise, our lives should produce meaningful fruit. And by fruits here I mean things that show that we don't just call ourselves Christians, but that we actually demonstrate every day that we really are Christians by our actions, by what we do, by the fruit that we produce. It's easy, isn't it, to look outwardly like a fruitful tree in our lives. In our cases, like a good Christian. But Jesus said in Matthew that we would be known by the fruits we produce, by the good things that we do and say. And you can't hide that stuff from God.
In Matthew chapter 7, verses 15 to 20, Jesus says these words: "Watch out for false prophets. They come to you in sheep's clothing, but inwardly they are ferocious wolves. By their fruit you will recognize them. Do people pick grapes from thorn bushes or figs from thistles? Likewise, every good tree bears good fruit, but a bad tree bears bad fruit. A good tree cannot bear bad fruit, and a bad tree cannot bear good fruit. Every tree that does not bear good fruit is cut down and thrown into the fire. Thus, by their fruit, you will recognize them."
Another way of putting this is that actions speak louder than words. You can tell a person's real character by their actions. And good actions are good fruit. Righteous actions are righteous fruit. And we shouldn't be only producing outward fruit, things that other people can see and hear, but also inward fruit. Inward fruit is the Holy Spirit working inside of us, in our minds, in our hearts, helping make us more and more into the image of Christ. It's the part of us that other people might not see. How do we act and think when nobody else is looking other than God? In the New Testament, Paul described the fruit of the Spirit in his letter to the Galatians. Chapter 5 verses 22 to 23 say, "But the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, long-suffering, gentleness, goodness, faith, meekness, and temperance." In fact, Jesus chose you for the very purpose of bearing fruit. In John 15 verse 16, Jesus says this: You did not choose me, I chose you and sent you out to produce fruit, the kind of fruit that will last. Then my Father will give you whatever you ask for in my name. My prayer for all of us today is that we will not simply call ourselves Christians and leave things at that, but that we will show fruit all year round, that we will show love to others, gentleness to those who need it, that we will see the joy in things, the positive, rather than always seeing the negative, and that we will show peace where others might find aggression. The song that I have chosen today is called Holy Spirit, and it speaks of the Holy Spirit working within our lives to produce more and more fruit, and asking the Holy Spirit to give us even more. I hope you enjoy it.